A fourth child's baby book is legendarily blank. My fourth's baby book should be actually unreadable. Baby's first visit to the lawyer, baby's first visit to a food pantry, and baby's first visit to the school principal to ask that she not dismiss the older kids to the custody of their clearly unbalanced father are among the more colorful entries never written. While very true, those entries will not be the stories my Patrick grows up knowing, not the memories embedded in his head with the lullabies. Not because they aren't true, nor because they aren't locked in my heart's book, but because another book is being written by a village of mothers determined to change my family's story. It begins with me on my November front yard, waving at a new neighbor unloading a moving van, while in terror calling my friend Deb to say, "I'm having a crisis. The money is gone and I don't know where he is. I need you to come and get the kids." A peaceful hour before, in a rare moment of postpartum nirvana, beef, broccoli, and rice were simmering on the stove, and fussy 8-week-old Patrick was sleeping in his bouncy seat. The 2-year-old was sleeping upstairs, and the big kids were at school. But now I was shakily feeding my kids snacks, helping them with homework, and way too cheerfully packing them into Deb's car for a surprise middle-of-the-week playdate. With dread, I faced my house and still sleeping infant. It took less than 2 hours to go from happily married suburban housewife to full-blown, crisis-induced emotional breakdown. And only one more day to be applying for food stamps and visiting shelters. With Deb caring for my other kids, I sank into my bed to feed the baby, and I couldn't. I could hardly even cry. The mental trauma had dried up my milk. When my milk did let down, I don't know who was more grateful, me or Patrick. Another afternoon, in bed with my white and black duvet, I was again nursing Patrick, and I found myself unable to move. Shock strain had caused immobility. My sister Laura looked at me and took everyone for a walk. I regained myself, my kids played, and the village carried on. Weeks later, in my living room chair, happy first day of Christmas break chaos everywhere around me, I was unable to even begin loading the car to head to Nana's. The distance between us, the car, and Nana's house was a continent. I couldn't stop crying. While braiding my girl's hair, Becca called her husband. "I'm not going to be home when I thought." And Bridget, my neighbor, loaded the car. Months later, a devastating conversation with formerly loving family members threatened to completely undo me. Unable to speak, I called Deb again. She asked if I could manage to drive over. Yes. Her crackling fire and couch enveloped me, and after nursing the baby, I fell asleep. My kids and I spent the night there, surrounded and loved. Kristen made me frozen pancakes monthly so I could continue to feed my kids homemade breakfasts. Sarah made frozen cookie balls to bake for after-school snacks. Weekly, Jill went with me to a food pantry, watching her kids and mine while I shopped. If I squinted, life was nearly normal, and it was just a weekly play date. My parents sat in my living room one early morning after I had called them at 5:30 to say, "Don't get on that plane for vacation. Please, my life has completely collapsed." They sat there, and my dad said to me, "Christa, what do you think I did when your mom died in the middle of the night? I called friends to take care of you and me, and I just kept getting up, daily." His wife, my second mother, Dana, sat with him. She sat there, and in that moment, loved me and my kids as well as any first mother ever could. And she has been actively loving my kids and me every day since. It takes a village is a tired and sometimes meaningless cliche, although it's actually a proverb. But not to me. Because of this mother village, in the face of loss, I am able to continue to be mother to my 4 children. My friends care for the kids when I need it. But more than childcare, this story is one of mother care. The village's work allows me to do mine. Because I didn't collapse from grief and despair, my children's childhoods are still theirs. I'm now the divorced 38-year-old mother of 4. I work full-time. I nursed that newborn baby for 2 years and 2 months. All 4 kids are well-loved and cared for, just not always by me. The baby book is weird, but it will never be a tragedy.